Welcome back to YouTube channel Battlefield Stories. The med bay was silent except for the faint hum of fluorescent lights and the rhythmic click of boots on polished tile. Sergeant Elena Brooks sat on the edge of the examination table, her jaw set, her gaze steady. The young corpsman standing before her hesitated before speaking. "Ma'am, we just need to verify your service record. Roll up your sleeve, please." She didn't move at first. Her right arm, covered from wrist to shoulder in dark ink, was hidden beneath her fatigues. The corpsman shifted nervously, his superior, a captain, stepping forward, clipboard in hand. "It's standard, Sergeant," he insisted. "All incoming personnel must confirm medical identification marks." Elena finally nodded. "All right," she murmured, her voice low, calm, carrying an unspoken weight. Slowly, she unbuttoned her cuff and rolled the sleeve up past her elbow. The room froze. 3 pairs of eyes locked onto the tattoo. A 3-headed hound, its jaws open, fangs bared, Cerberus. Beneath it, etched in fine ink, were 12 names. Some of the most decorated soldiers in her unit, all lost in the Black Dunes operation 5 years ago. The same mission no one talked about. The captain's hand trembled slightly. You're from Cerberus Platoon," he stammered. Elena's eyes flickered, a mix of exhaustion, pride, and grief. She said quietly. Until the sand swallowed them whole. The corpsman swallowed hard. Everyone had heard of Cerberus Platoon, the special operations unit that vanished during an extraction gone wrong. They were legends, ghosts whose story was buried beneath classified reports and political silence. But no one knew one of them had survived. "Ma'am," the captain finally said, straightening. "We thought no one made it," she finished. Her tone wasn't bitter, just resolute. "That's what they told everyone. It's easier that way." The silence hung thick. Outside, the distant rumble of helicopters echoed through the hangar. Inside, the air was still, heavy with the weight of what they were seeing, a living remnant of a unit thought lost to history. Elena turned her head toward the window, watching the faint shimmer of desert heat beyond the glass. "They were more than soldiers," she said, her voice trembling just enough to show that some ghosts never leave. "They were my brothers, my family, and that tattoo, it's not just ink. It's a promise." The corpsman stepped back, visibly shaken. The captain set the clipboard down. "Sergeant Brooks," he began carefully, why didn't you tell command?" She gave a faint smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Command knew," she said. "They just chose to forget. Someone had to remember." As she stood, the room seemed to shrink around her. She carried herself like someone who'd walked through fire and refused to burn. The scars beneath her uniform were invisible, but the way she moved, measured, deliberate, told the story of a survivor who had buried too many names. "Permission to be dismissed, sir?" she asked. The captain hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Granted." Elena turned to leave, but the corpsman called after her. "Ma'am," he said softly, "those names on your arm, they'd be proud." She stopped at the door. "They were the best of us," she replied. "I just try to make sure the world remembers them that way." Hours later, in the evening light that poured across the motor pool, Elena sat alone on a bench beside the hum of distant machinery. Her hands trembled as she traced each name on her arm, the ink fading slightly after years of desert sun. "Thompson, Ruiz, Carter," she whispered, as though reciting a prayer. "You held the line. You didn't break." A shadow approached. The captain from earlier, his expression softer now. "Sergeant," he said, "there's something you should know. Command reviewed your file. You were listed Kia, presumed lost during the Cerberus operation. Officially, you don't exist." Elena smirked faintly. "That's fine by me. The dead can do what the living can't, they can speak freely." He exhaled. "There's going to be a ceremony next week. The Defense Department's honoring fallen units. I can make sure your platoon's names are included." Her gaze lifted, sharp and steady. "Don't put my name there," she said. "They deserve their moment. I'll be there to watch." He nodded slowly. "Understood." That weekend, the parade ground shimmered under the afternoon sun. Rows of uniforms stood at attention as the announcer's voice echoed across the loudspeakers, reading out the names of Cerberus Platoon, the unit that vanished in the desert, buying time for an entire battalion to escape. Elena stood in the back, wearing civilian clothes, her ball cap pulled low. No one recognized her, and she preferred it that way. When the announcer reached the last name, the band fell silent. A gust of wind swept through the field, rustling the flags. The crowd bowed their heads. Elena raised her arm slightly, her sleeve rolled up, the tattoo gleaming faintly in the light. She whispered, "You made it home." A small figure beside her, a young cadet, barely 18, looked up. "Ma'am," he said uncertainly, "were you with them?" She met his gaze. "They were with me," she said. The boy blinked, confused, but there was something in her tone, a reverence, a strength, that silenced any further questions. When the ceremony ended, she walked quietly to the memorial wall. The names of her platoon were etched there now, carved in stone beneath the emblem of Cerberus, 3 heads, eternal guardians of the fallen. Elena placed her hand against the cold marble. "You kept your promise," she whispered. "Now it's my turn." She stood there for a long time, until the sun dipped below the horizon. Then, as the last light faded, she pulled her sleeve back down, covering the tattoo. Some memories were meant to stay hidden, carried only by those strong enough to bear them. As she turned to leave, a voice called from behind her, the captain again. "Sergeant Brooks." She paused. He jogged up, holding a sealed envelope. "The Pentagon requested your presence. There's talk about reinstating Cerberus as a legacy unit. They want you to lead the Memorial Command." Her expression softened, touched by something between pride and pain. "Cerberus was never about me," she said. "It was about the 12 who never came back." He nodded. "And maybe," he said quietly, "it's about the one who did." Elena looked past him, toward the horizon, the same desert where her brothers fell, where she had crawled through dust and fire to survive. Her voice was calm, steady, resolute. "Then I'll do it," she said. "For them." The captain smiled faintly. "I'll let command know." As she walked toward the setting sun, the air shimmered with heat. Behind her, the wall stood silent, 12 names, eternal and unforgotten. She paused once more, touching the tattoo through her sleeve. "Rest easy," she murmured. "Cerberus stands watch." And then she disappeared into the light, not a ghost, but a living promise that some legacies never die.